Neighbor God's getting ready to do a quick work. How many know we're still saying we shall overcome someday? Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the St. James Show. I am your bishop today. I'm your apostle. I'm just St. James today because we got somebody real on today. All right. I am him, St. James. I appreciate each and every one of you coming into the St. James Sanctuary on tonight on the East Coast. It was still kind of early evening, late afternoon over here in California. Will you do me a great big favor, as I always ask you to do? Will you hit that subscribe button right now? Subscribe to the St. James Show and the Carnal Church Sector. And also hit that like button and turn on your notifications so you will be notified each and every time we go live. Share right now on all your social medias, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff. And never forget that you can be an exclusive member here at the St. James Show by clicking the membership link in the description of this video. And those are your ways that you can always give monetarily if you have the unction to be a giver. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed the video we did on yesterday. We brought some light to a lawsuit that has been going on between the Reverend Dr. Eboni Marshall Turman and the Abyssinian Baptist Church in Harlem. We're in Harlem tonight once again, everybody. We are in Harlem. Let's see who is here on tonight. If you didn't get a chance to watch the video last night, please watch it after we get out of here to get you updated to what is going on in regards to that lawsuit. We did know that it was dismissed. So we're going to be talking today to Reverend Marshall Turman. But before we do that, what's up, Londa? Good to see you. Mike Moore is in the building. What's up, Rejoice, Wellness Care? Appreciate you being here. Nicole C. Good. What's up, Nicole? What's up, Nicole? Thank you for being a member as well. Cyber Diva is in the house. Our beautiful Inspire is here. What's up, Kevin? All the way in Brooklyn is up in the house. T. Davis is here. Hit that like button, everybody. Let's hit that like button. General Davis, good to see you as well. What's up, Kim? Kim, congratulations. I saw it later that you are opening up your own pharmacy. I tell you, we are so godly proud of you, and we are here to support you all along the way. So let's put some congratulations in the chat for Kim Street there, as she's opening up her own pharmacy. She is a dentist, and she's going all the way with it, and we appreciate you. What's up, Rosalind? Thank you for being a member. Thank you. JP is in the building all the way from Texas. What's up, K Rich? Good to see you. Mary is here at Cooking with Pose for Me. Good to see you as well. And each and every one of you. Pray Era, good to see you. Thank you for your support. All right, Cree B is in the building. Good to see you, Cree B. Hey, I hope I didn't miss anybody so far. All right, everybody. Now, as we're talking on today, we're going to be talking, and I would like everybody to be respectful in the chat. All right. You will have to go over there and be in children's church. The first violation is 30 minutes. All right, mods and doorkeepers. The first violation of disrespect is 30 minutes over there in children's church. You have a speaker over there. You're just not able to participate in the big church, as we used to call it. All right. So we want you to be respectful in the chat today. If you feel like you can't be respectful, then don't type. All right, just don't type. All right, keep it to yourself. You know, everything you tell some, you keep some. You keep that to yourself. All right. Yes. Hashtag respectful. Okay. When we're dealing with lawsuits and gender discrimination and other things like that, people have some really, strong feelings. But get your own platform and air out all your feelings over there. If it's going to be disrespectful, air them out over there somewhere. We got company up in here today. That's right. We got company today. So before we get into it, we're going to get right into the conversation. I see our guest is here. So we're ready. I'm going to bring her on in just a minute or so. And we are going to go with it, and we are going to have a really good conversation. I feel it in my spirit. That we're going to have a great conversation on today. So let's get right into it.
I stopped by today with some black theology in my lecturer's quiver, because our church and our community and our culture is under attack, and we need to protect our heads. Because if you lose control of your head, you lose control of your mind, and a mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Welcome, everybody, to the St. James Show. The Right Reverend Dr. Eboni Marshall Turman. I got to get it all together.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate you accepting my invitation to come on and have a conversation with me. How's your day going so far?
It's been busy. I've been working all day. I'm still in my office, but I'm so grateful for the invitation, St. James. I do admire your work, and I'm excited to be in conversation with you about such an important topic today.
Very important, and it goes deeper than the lawsuit,
Absolutely.
It goes 100%. Deeper than the lawsuit. I got wind of it after I reported on the lawsuit about the search committee and the deal like that. Then someone sent me a message, I think that same night, said, "Hey, there's another lawsuit you might."
Oh yes. The victory lap has been taken too soon.
Yeah, a little too soon, but that's okay. We're going to get there. Could you tell us a little bit about Dr. Marshall Turman, for those in the audience and people who will watch later? Who are you?
Well, Again, I'm Eboni Marshall Turman. I am currently the Associate Professor of Theology and African American Religion at Yale University Divinity School. And in that role, I train essentially the now and next generations of Black pastors, of pastors across denomination and certainly racial affiliation. And I also train religious and political leaders for the public square. I am an author. I am the author of a book toward a woman's ethic of incarnation, Black Bodies, the Black Church, and the Council of Chalcedon. I am in the process of publishing a forthcoming manuscript titled Black Women's Burden, Violence, Scandal, and African American Social Christianity, and have two more in my back pocket.
Oh, wow.
In addition to several journal articles and book chapters, I am an itinerant preacher at this time, preaching all over the nation and the world. And I'm a mother. I am a mother of 3 girls. I am a wife of 1 husband.
Of 1. All right. That's important.
And I am the former assistant minister of the Abyssinian Baptist Church in the city of New York, where I served for over 10 years. And I've also been a member there since I was 17 years old. I won't say how many years that is. It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. They seem to don't mind the ladies, the ministers sitting on the sideline, though.
Well, I mean, it depends. I was the second in, the church's now 216-year history. My colleague, Reverend Dr. Deese, was the first. It is easy to demonstrate a semblance of equity with the presence of women clergy who have no power. Or very little power in relation to male clergy. And so, our presence actually helps to soften the blow of the charge of patriarchy. So, yeah, they're open to us being in the margins.
Yeah.
When we endeavor to come front and center, that we see those problems more readily.
So being a member there for so long, of course, you had a relationship with the Reverend Dr. Calvin Butts. What was your relationship with him?
Wow, St. James, as you flash his picture in front of me, we had a very close relationship. Very close relationship. Again, I became a member of the Abyssinian Church as an adolescent. And I didn't start my ministry, my parish ministry at Abyssinian. I worked at the Union Baptist Church in Montclair, New Jersey, for a few years before Reverend Butts called me back to Abyssinian to serve the ministry. And he had purposely told me no to go out away from the home congregation to gain experience, outside of Harlem, of course. And but it was just so wonderful. He had to call me back. So we were extremely close over the course of my time there. We sat next to each other on the pulpit every Sunday. I believe that my pastor respected me deeply. He respected my ministry. He would often say and has said publicly that I am the best minister that he's ever had, certainly the smartest minister that he's ever had. That's on record.
Yeah.
We talked about everything. We talked about everything up until really, his dying, certainly the month he died. We talked about everything. And so he came actually to Yale the April before he passed. I think Yale may have been his last preaching engagement, maybe second to last. He may have done a commencement that May. And he introduced my children as his grandchildren. Certainly we know that we are not biologically related, but we were very close. And like father and daughter, I am his daughter in ministry. He did ordain me. We had our spats. And, I am definitely solidly rooted in my beliefs and in my theological vision and ethical commitments. And so and so was he. And so we had, very interesting conversation at the time, but it was all love and deep, deep, deep respect.
So did the conversation, and I read it in the lawsuits, one of the documents, and so you had a conversation with Reverend Butts regarding a female senior pastor, whether that was a possibility in his eyes or not. Correct?
Yes, many years while I was still serving the church, actively serving the church before I transitioned into academic ministry, we did have a conversation. We had a conversation about pastoring, And I remember it like it was yesterday. He was standing looking over 138th Street out of his office windows. And he turned around and said, "So you want to be a pastor?" And I said, I kind of just nodded my head and shrugged my shoulders. And he said, it's very lonely. It's a very lonely journey. And, when my pastor spoke in certain tones, I would get quiet and I would listen. And I was listening to him reflect on his own journey. And in that conversation, he said, Abyssinian will never call a woman. And and it wasn't, he wasn't making a claim on me necessarily, but he was speaking to, I think, the sexism that really is at the heart of the church, certainly, but the Black church in very particular ways. And I just took that in. I couldn't believe he said it, actually, so candidly. But I took it in and I said, well, they've never seen a woman like me.
So listening that from Reverend Butts and your experience with Abyssinian and trusting his word, trusting him as a pastor, he passes away. The search committee starts looking for a senior pastor. Knowing that he said this, you put your name in the hat.
Well, I told him before I submitted my application, we had a conversation and I told him that I was going to submit. A lot of people did, evidently, and he told them not to, but he did not tell me that.
Oh,
okay. He did not tell me that.
There was about 40-something applicants?
I believe between 40 and 50.
Okay, gotcha.
I was 9 months pregnant.
How many women?
How many women? I'm not sure. I believe there is a public record. Definitely less than 5.
Gotcha.
Definitely less than 5. I was 9 months pregnant.
Oh, wow.
I submitted my application. And I had a dream, no pun intended. But I woke up and I really felt that the Lord compelled me to submit an application. Now, 9 months pregnant, you're not trying to, do all of that. You're not trying to do all of that. But I really felt that the Lord said to me that I needed to do this. And I really believed that I was called to this moment and that I was prepared by the best. I was prepared by my pastor.
And called the best from your pastor.
Period.
You were prepared by the best. You were called the best.
Period. And have demonstrated that. Have demonstrated the high calling of Jesus Christ in my ministry across the board, not only in the parish, certainly in the parish, but also in my work of training pastors in the Theological Academy. And so why not? Why not?
Overly qualified. You're training pastors, you're training ministers, you're training teachers, you're the professor of these theology universities and things. And of course you should put your name in that.
Correct. And I did not, because of gender bias, I did not expect to make it past the first round, but I knew what the Lord told me to do. I knew what the Lord told me to do. And, it's very interesting because I mean, as a bit of a detour, when I told the committee that I felt called to this work, to submit my materials and to pastor this church, I was told after the fact that I was overly confident, that I was, cocky and too ambitious, kind of the classic characterizations of women who are certain about their call and certain about the ways that God has called
Sounds
them.
like a pastor to me.
I mean, so and the thing about it is, men say this stuff all the time.
All the time.
I'm called to
Yeah.
church.
Cocky,
Men say it all the
confident.
time, but be that as it may, St. James.
Yeah.
I did. I felt called to. It's not because of what my pastor said to me or what my pastor didn't say to me.
Yeah.
I felt called to it. And given that I made it all the way to the final round, I would say that I was more than qualified. They knew it. I know it. The church knows it.
Yeah.
And here we are.
And I was going through the documents in the lawsuit, and I was reading and reading again, and I'm trying to figure out why you were not, according to what I was reading and what was presented to us. You should have been in the top 2.
Again, I did not think that I would be called to the church, just because, even being the best, we know how this works racially, right?
Yeah.
You work 10 times as harder and, as hard, and, do 20 times as much, and we still get the short end of the stick. The same is true for gender.
Yeah.
And so I didn't have any, I wasn't sure, but I knew that I should at least be a finalist.
Right.
I knew I should be a finalist.
Yeah.
So that was not a question. Again, based on my experience of over 10 years, 12 years in the parish, and more than that with my ministry more broadly, and my robust resume and gifts for ministry. I knew that, barring gender, that I should be in the finalist at least.
Well, it's been said, and I've seen comments, and I've looked at them, and they've said, well, what does she feel that she needs to sue? I mean, other people didn't get selected either, and why is she thinking she's so entitled to this? And that has been going out there. But again, your accolades, what you've done, who you are, your influence, it mimics what I believe would be a great pastor, a great leader for the church, any church,
So after the fact, I found out that, let me back up and just say, I knew something had gone horribly wrong when I received an email very late in the night from one person about no longer being under consideration. I knew something had gone horribly wrong there. And I believed, and that was later confirmed, that I was dropped because of gender. And that was later confirmed. We can get into that later. It's not about entitlement.
Yeah.
James, this is not about entitlement. I spend my every day, every minute of my life considering justice, considering matters of equity, as the principle of justice emerges from the prophets and as it is concretized in the Gospels. And this, for me, is a matter of justice, not just for me. I happen to be the site of this rupture.
Right.
But for all women who have been dispossessed and marginalized by the Black church. And we could extend that even beyond women, but certainly, Black women.
Who's the foundation of the Black church?
I mean, there wouldn't be one without Black women. Cheryl Townsend Gilkes, a womanist sociologist of religion, says if it weren't for the women, if it wasn't for the women, she says, there would be no church. And so this is about, I'm not the first woman to be, to be discriminated against by a church, certainly. And I won't be the last, sadly. But I have the tools, I have the language, I have the strength, and I have the audacity to say no.
Right.
And to call discrimination and sexism, broadly speaking, to call sexism not only an injustice, but a sin and evidence of the moral failure of our churches. And I have a platform to do it. And this is what I do. This is what I do. My work is in gender, race, and the Black church, religion. And so I would be not just remiss, but it would be just a blatant disregard of my call beyond the parish,
right,
if I didn't speak out about this injustice.
Well, you ran Valerie S. Grant off that committee. You ran her up under a rock.
And did. Because she knows she was wrong.
Boy, she got her Birkin bag and hit the road.
I mean, it's unfortunate.
But Valerie, we still say your name. Go ahead.
Or not. I mean, it's unfortunate, St. James, that women will often participate in our own oppression, right? And that is definitely the case in this instance, that we are conditioned to valorize men. Yeah. We are conditioned to believe in the erection, if you will, of the pulpit, and in a certain kind of charismatic identity that can only be possessed by men. And so, women can hate women too, and so, and from what I've been told, and what has been recorded in affidavits from other members of the search committee attesting to what happened, it was said blatantly that there will never be a woman in the Abyssinian pulpit.
And we have to remember that Reverend Calvin Butts wasn't the founder of Abyssinian.
Absolutely not.
So,
in fact, it was 11 Black women.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Yes. 11 Black women and a few others who were the founders of the church. This history can be found in the written history of the Abyssinian Baptist Church. The title is Witness. And it is authored by several persons, including Kevin Magruder and Quentin Dixie and others. It's co-authored.
I tell you, so you get the notification you were not considered, and then we have who they have now, Dr. Kevin Johnson. What are your thoughts on just what do you know? Have you had a relationship? Because it's my understanding that he used to go to Abyssinian, correct?
Kevin and I worked together for several years at Abyssinian, so I am very familiar with Kevin, and could have a lot to say about that experience. Let me just back up, St. James, and say that it wasn't just that I was eliminated. I was a finalist.
Right.
And this was attested to again by several members of the search committee, including the vice chair. Kevin was behind me, and I was removed. I was removed from the finalist lineup, and by one person, by the former chair, and I was replaced by Kevin, who was never a finalist until I was moved out. And that is how they ended up with their final list of all men.
Do you think this person in at COG, they'd say, well, Kevin, he was a pastor. He was over there in Pennsylvania, wherever he was, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, at Dare to Imagine and Bright Hope. And so he had the experience of being a pastor. Was that used in your dismissal? Did you hear that at all?
Absolutely. I've heard that.
Okay.
I've heard that over and over again. And a few things there. Actually, the job description, the call required a certain number of years for a Baptist, a pastor serving a Baptist congregation. Every congregation that I have served has been Baptist, and the same cannot be true for Kevin. In fact, Kevin was he split a Baptist church, and that
is that Abby?
No, he split. Bright Hope.
Oh, Bright Hope. That's right. He did split. Yeah, and he got Dare to Imagine. They just got a pastor last night or something. Yeah, go ahead.
He established Dare to Imagine. Yes, and so there were a lot of concessions were made, just none for me.
Right.
Kevin had not pastored a Baptist church for the amount of years specified, and members of the church can attest to the fact that I was not the senior pastor of Abyssinian Baptist Church and would never represent that as such, but the work that I did as an assistant minister at the Abyssinian Baptist Church, especially in light of my pastor's absence while the president of a college, was equal to, if not surpassed on many levels, the work of pastors. Pastors would call me at Abyssinian and ask me how to do a funeral. Wow. Because their churches were so small, they didn't deal with a lot of deaths. They would call me and ask me, how do I do this? How do I do that? And so the experience one can gain at Abyssinian in the role of assistant minister is, speaks volumes, right? And it's, I think, in many ways equivalent to the work of many pastors in other settings. And so I think the larger point, no, I've never been a senior pastor, but a question could be asked about that. Why not? Why aren't women called to be senior pastors in the ways, in the number that men are, especially given that the Black church is constituted primarily by upwards of 90% Black women? Why, there's a reason why women are not called to be pastors in Black churches, especially Black Baptist churches. And that reason, I would argue, given that we are the prayer warriors, given that we are the teachers of children, given that we are the proclaimers of the word, given that we are the psalmists, given that we are, propelling the ministry across the board, I argue and have argued in much of my scholarship that the reason is sexism, and not just sexism, but misogyny, which is the hate of Black women.
There's a pastor here. He's a pastor. He don't even have a GED.
Child, some of them didn't get past the 6th grade. Come on. I mean, I've been in churches where I couldn't stand on the pulpit.
Yeah.
Where I've been dismissed because I had hoops in my ears instead of studs.
Jesse has a good question. Do you believe this Trump rhetoric against diversity and women helped you get cheated?
Well, sexism precedes Trump.
Yeah. And,
unfortunately, he underscores it and propels it. But I do think that what we are seeing in the Black church is, as it relates to women, is a certain kind of replication of a Make America Great Again, or as I have written, a Make the Black Church Great Again ethic, where we want to marginalize everyone who defies what we understand as normative leadership. And that is a Black man who is middle class and performs heterosexuality in public.
Yeah. And It did happen. I think Johnson was there before the election, but it was still stirring. It was still stirring before the election in regards to the diversity and things like that. So it's a proper question, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
So I have so many questions.
Well, come on with it. We got a little more time, St. James.
Yeah. So, after this, and so you're suing Abyssinian, you're suing Valerie because she was the head of the search committee. She bails out. Now they dismiss your deal.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. No,
They
go ahead.
dismissed it on yesterday.
Yes, it was dismissed.
On a technicality.
Not on the merit, on the technicality, correct.
And the only reason they're saying it pretty much in a nutshell, well, the church has the right to do what they want under their church laws.
More particularly, the church has the right to discriminate against women.
Ouch.
And this argument, this was argued by the Abyssinian Baptist Church, right? The mother church of Black Baptists, a church born in resistance to discrimination, has argued effectively that they have the right to discriminate. And on the technicality of ministerial exception, the case was dismissed.
The sad part about this, I hope this works out for Abyssinian. They have fought tooth and nail for Dr. Kevin R. Johnson.
But they haven't. And this is the catch. The search committee.
The search committee.
The search committee.
Back up. You're right.
Tooth and nail.
Committee has.
Right. For Kevin Johnson. The church voted overwhelmingly against Kevin Johnson, given that, an abstention is a no vote based on the bylaws of the church. So the search committee, and it was not their responsibility, their job, their mandate to choose a pastor. The mandate of the search committee is to recommend a pastor.
To present the proper candidates.
To recommend a pastor for the church to vote on. The church voted, and the church voted no, but it was pushed through anyway. And this is what the other case is about, because there is another case.
Yeah. Was yours the first or the first case, or was
mine was the first?
First, okay, gotcha. And then they came on with this. My only concern is, can they hide under that law, that how they dismiss yours? Or
they're going to try. I mean, I don't know all of the details of this case. I am not a petitioner, although I support them wholeheartedly. As a Baptist congregation, we are a congregational church, which means that the power, rests in the congregation itself. And the congregation has the authority to choose their own pastor, which they did not get to do this time around. I will say that they will try to use ministerial exception, but what is at stake, I believe, in this second case is the bylaws, which were the bylaws of the church, which were totally dismissed. And so if, it is our hope that the court will see that, will recognize that with clarity and rule accordingly.
Yeah, because what I've seen, what I've read, because a lot of Abyssinian folks have sent me information and made sure that I was aware of what was actually the real deal lawsuit, not what we're hearing. They just don't want Kevin. They just don't like him. Whether that be true or not, the way he got in there is the question.
This is not about who we like or who we don't like. I've known Kevin for over 20 years. I've known I know his wife, I know his children, I knew when they were born, obviously, and he knows me. And it's not about who we like. It's not about who we don't like. It's about the process. The process was discriminatory. The process was tainted. And the congregation, the church, has the right to a process that is integrous, a process that aligns with the high calling of God in Christ. And that is what is at stake, a tainted process that was biased and that was discriminatory. And this is not just me saying it. There are affidavits that attest that discrimination happened, that the process was tainted. And that's what people have to understand. If this, in fact, St. James, what I've said in many of my writings is that my case and my witness and testimony in relation to this is a love song from my church. This is a love story for my church. I love my church. And I want the church to be all that it can be. That's what I spend my life doing, writing about the Black church and what we can be. And so that's what my lawsuit is about. We have to do better than this. We can't treat each other like this and then wonder why, the federal administration, Trump and all of them can treat us like. We have to do better by each other. And I stand firmly 10 toes down on that claim. And I will not let up. I will not let up. This is about process.
Yeah.
And the process was bad.
And I think, that's what I wanted to talk to you about, that because a lot of people are right now, they're, well, even me, I had to feel guilty. I was like, well, things seem to be moving along over there at Abyssinian. You got Al Sharpton coming in. You got the Buddy Warnock coming in preaching.
Listen.
You had Roberta Flack's funeral. I mean, things are rocking and moving over there. Even had Lauryn Hill over there singing at Abyssinian.
Well, Abyssinian is, as I stated, St. James, Abyssinian's the mother church of Black Baptists. This is not new. This is not because of Kevin. It's because of Abyssinian.
Right.
Abyssinian has always, we have always had, members who were celebrities. We have always, while I was there, we did Ozzie Davis's funeral. We had, memorials for Whitney Houston, Luther Vandross. Yeah. People came from far and wide to Abyssinian. So that's not a reflection of Kevin or his leadership. In fact, some of what you mentioned may be an indictment against him, but that's for another day. This is about, the history, the great history of this church, which is even more so. It's even more so why we must act as a congregation with integrity.
Right.
The history that this institution carries as a harbinger of justice, as the moral beacon of the nation, is completely being undersold. It's being buried by what is an embarrassment, not only to the church, but to the ministry of Jesus Christ. And it really is sad. But I love my church.
Yeah.
I love the Black church so much that I will call it to account and I will demand that it does better.
Did Kevin throw you out yet?
Child.
He's throwing everybody else out.
Did, but not me.
He giving everybody else their letters and carrying on over there.
No, he has not. We'll see. You know I'm a rabble rouser.
Yeah.
I like to fight.
He don't like y'all over there right now. He wants
in
y'all
the
to be
name
quiet.
of Jesus. See,
Right.
I take the name of Jesus with me. I like to fight.
Take the Lord along with you everywhere you go. That's what.
So that would be another one. No. I have not been excommunicated yet. Yeah. Although I have been assaulted in other ways to date, but God is faithful.
I want to say his wife was even online cutting up one time.
She absolutely was. She called the petitioners wolves, I believe, bestializing Black people, and very quickly erased the post, but it was a very, very harsh.
Oh, we caught it. I got a screenshot, lady.
You're not the only one, St. James. But yeah, and I responded in kind.
I see you
because
did.
that kind of bullying
Mm.
and that kind of hateful behavior is unbecoming, not only unbecoming of a first lady, but it is not a reflection of who we are called to be in Christ. And
I'm convinced that Kevin Johnson absolutely knew that he was not the best candidate for the job. He had issues at Bright Hope. He had other issues going on. And the search committee, whether it be Valerie or whoever was in there, they just wanted who they wanted. And then the Morehouse Mafia kind of pushed their way in there.
Listen. I mean, I don't want to speculate beyond what has been attested to.
Hit the like button, everybody, for me. Please hit that like button right now.
I don't want to speculate, beyond what has been attested to in the, in the affidavits and in the court proceedings. But, I believe that it was, that this was a biased search from the beginning.
Yeah.
And while the church stated very clearly, this was the issue of waiver that came up in my case, that they would not discriminate based on gender, marital status, and some other protected categories. They did.
Yeah.
And, I think it was a shoo-in from the start. And I believe that the process was a fraud.
Yeah.
And although the church has contended that the church, and I should say the pulpit search committee, has contended over and over again that everything they did was, on the up and up, based on the facts, St. James, that is blatant lie.
So the statement they put out yesterday is no truth to that statement there?
Lie.
Lie. Okay. Okay. Well, it definitely doesn't line up.
That statement does say the case was dismissed. That's true.
That's the one truth about it.
The case was dismissed. But
How did you feel when that came down? Tell me your raw feeling. What was it? Dismissed by Judge Ho. Let me put this in there. The same judge who just dismissed Eric Adams' criminal charges today or yesterday.
Right. That's right.
The same judge.
Draw the line. Make the connection. Judge Ho. So you have to read the opinion. You have to read it because it reads to me and many attorneys that I have consulted, as the judge, laying out the facts of the case and arguing as such, that he actually sides with me. Yeah. I mean, the judge actually states, and let me read this for you so that I don't get it wrong. It's on page 12 of the ruling. I mean, it states, and I quote, "To be sure, one might question the propriety of an organization holding itself out as an equal opportunity employer and reaping the public relations benefits of that self-description, only to turn around and say that it is immune from liability under anti-discrimination statutes when someone alleges that the organization has unlawfully discriminated." So, I mean, they're essentially saying that, this is questionable here. There's a question here about what happened. But, based on religious exception alone, not the merits, but the technicality, it's dismissed. But the judge, but the argument really is in my favor in terms of the moral argument, which is also important.
And it's important for Abyssinian to know. that.
That's right. The moral argument is as important as the legal argument. And it's the moral argument now that that I'm lifting up, because this is a fight. This is a fight for all women.
Yeah.
This is a fight for all women. This is not just about me. I'm not the first. And unfortunately, I will not be the last to experience.
How were your emotions when you heard it was dismissed?
When I heard it was dismissed, well, my attorney called me early in the morning, and I was like, huh. that was my initial reaction. Huh.
Did you expect it to be dismissed? What was your expectations? Realistically.
It was 50-50.
Okay.
And as the judge says in the, in his not remarks, but in his opinion, the judge says this was a quote, a close call. Right. So I always knew it was 50-50. I think Judge Ho made as he did with Eric Adams, I think he made the safe decision. He made the decision to rest on religious exception.
But it's yours with prejudice or without? I don't, because I know Eric, they can't come after Eric no more with that.
No, there is room for an appeal to the
There is. Okay.
Oh, yes.
And is that on the table for you?
It is absolutely on the table.
Okay.
It is absolutely on the table. A firm decision has not been made yet, but absolutely.
So tell us what angle you're gonna go. I'm just playing. Don't.
Yeah, right. I can't give you that argument. But an appeal is based on the facts as they've been laid out. So I can't present any new facts. I can present new evidence, but not new facts. So the facts will remain the same.
Right. Are you district or Supreme Court? Someone's asking.
So the Second Circuit is the appellate court in New York, and after the Second Circuit is the Supreme Court, and this is a constitutional issue.
And it's, you know what? It's just so important because we're looking at it like, oh, she's just bitter. She didn't get chosen, after all her time at Abyssinian and her education and her influence and her this and that. No, it's a bigger picture here. You don't understand what's being done to the African-American women right in the Black church.
So, a few things on that, St. James. I'm actually very happy, and I harbor deep and abiding joy in my heart. I have 3 children, beautiful girls, small children. So they keep me really, really busy. Yeah. And I have a wonderful vocational path that allows me to train, like I said, a next and now generation of pastoral leadership for the church and for the world. So this is not about bitterness. It's not. I have a wonderful marriage. My husband is my best friend. I am not bitter, but I am a warrior. Yeah. And I am, we say I'm a soldier in the army of the Lord, or just call me the general, because I am going to fight for what is right, what is just, and what is what the Lord requires of us, right? At every turn. That is what I'm supposed to do. So it's not about bitterness. I will say that when I submitted my application, I knew what I did know, 9 months pregnant, is that I was walking toward my own crucifixion. I knew that. When Luke would draw, I knew I was walking toward my own crucifixion. To go back to 138th Street from my hill here in New Haven, would not have been an easy move. It would not have been, without much thought and deep prayer and consideration. I have a wonderful, wonderful vocational path and trajectory. This would have been a labor of love, because I love Black people, because I love Jesus, because I love the Black church. I felt a call to serve, a charge, to keep. So, that's what it's about. I'm not bitter, but I know what justice is.
And it's a wonderful thing to know that God trusts you this much to allow you to walk this path. just so not only to help you, but to help others and the bigger issue that's going on here. And he trusts Reverend Dr. Eboni Marshall Turman that much.
I believe that. I believe that, I believe that I am one of very few people who could do this right now at this moment. It's not easy. I have been called everything under the sun except a child of God. But good thing I know how to call myself that, St. James.
And you're only what they say, you're only who you answer to.
Oh,
right?
Oh yes. Oh yes. So I've been viciously attacked by men and women, by people whose mamas I buried, and whose children I buried, and who I prayed over when they didn't have no lights in the. I mean, I've been by friends deserted by folks who I thought that were my friends. I've withstood a lot. So this was not easy, but I feel, and I've said it to friends and others, that I was called, I hate to be so cliche, but I feel like I was called for such a time as this. And there's no turning back.
Now, speaking of such a time as this, I think Marky Mom pointed it out. DEI is out the window. You got a president who doesn't even listen to the Constitution. He's trying to turn everything up. Is this the right time for an appeal for this type of fight?
Absolutely. Because as I said, win, lose, or draw, we have to fight for what is right. The Black church could not be more important than at this time. It could not be more important. It is the only institution, as long as we're not tied up in federal, contracts, and all of that mess with our community centers and development corporations and all of that, right? But the Black church is the only institution that Black people themselves own, right? That we possess for ourselves. We understand that the Black church was the first place where we could get continuing education. It was the first place where our best artists could, perform and craft, right? It was a restaurant when we couldn't go into restaurants, right? It was not only our spiritual center, but our social center. The Black church, we are, we might be, living in a fugitive time, very soon. And we are going to need our churches more than ever before. We need the Black church. And so we can't be the Black church that we're supposed to be if we are participating in our own demise by destroying one another. And so, no, I'm going to call out sexism. I'm going to call out patriarchy. I'm going to call out heterosexism. I'm going to call out colorism every single time. Because if we are going to be, again, who we ought to be for Black people, it has to start right now. And that is especially as war is being waged against us by a white supremacist, white Christian nationalist administration.
Well, I tell you this, you're talking right and you're moving even better. So MarshallTurman.com, that's your website, right?
That is my website, and folks can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Eboni Thoughts, EBONI.
At Mods, would you get that? At Eboni Thoughts, EBONI. Make sure we put that in the chat here, so when people are watching the replay, they can also click on it. You have your book that you talked about earlier. Tell us a little bit more about that book there.
Yes, so Toward a Womanist Ethic of Incarnation, it is the first book-length, womanist book-length treatment of conciliar tradition. It's really about, I'm arguing that the body, and specifically Black women's bodies, are a theological problem. As Jesus' body was a theological problem. And so I build a theology and a theological ethic that helps us think about the body of Jesus Christ in new and different ways, so that we might think about Black women's bodies in new and different ways. My forthcoming book, Black Women's Burden, is about violence against Black women in the Black church. And I discuss, among many other things, the practices of invisibilization, erasure, volunteerism, and other sites of what I call theoepistemic violence against Black women. And so, this is my life's work. This is my life's work.
And you're actually living through another book.
There you go. Yes. There
another book.
So wait, so to your question about how I felt, I felt like, well, again, it's sad. It's sad to have your church turn on you, right? Yeah. It's sad. Yeah. It's sad to not have a place to take your children to worship. Right. I came up in this church. Many of these people were in my wedding. It's painful to have your church, and it's not the church. I'm over speaking, but a representative sample of the church turn against you. It's painful. And I, as well as many others, because it's not just me, there's a whole group of concerned members of Abyssinian. And so, we are all mourning, I think, a great loss, but weeping. Come on now. Weeping endures for a night, and joy comes in the morning. So you know what? I'm going to stay my course and continue to do the work that my soul must have. And we will see what the Lord will do.
Are you opening? Are you interested? Do you have any thoughts of having your own ministry, your own church?
I don't feel at this point in time especially called to planting. Okay. I think church planting is a very specific call. And I recognize that at this time in my life, that is not where I am. But I am considering some things, right? Some things. And, who knows? I may, one man's trash is another man's treasure. So, I did not, Abyssinian, has gone to the wayside. I may feel called to apply to another church. We'll see. We'll see. But right now, I am focused on my academic work. I'm focused on writing more books that only I can write, and paving a way for the women who will come after me and who will run up against, collide with this struggle once again. So that's the focus right now.
Just really quick here. I know that, there's been a lot of talk about Kevin Johnson and him being in there, but, outside looking in, he really couldn't put himself in. The people, he can have a vocal, manipulation to the people, but the people, that search committee had to actually put him in.
Maneuver and
figure out that. Now, relationship, could you see yourself ever working with? Her face went from there. I'm not finished.
I didn't say anything, St. James. What are we saying? What's happening here?
You get it out and your jaw dropped.
Listen, I will say this. I am always open for reconciliation. We are called to be reconciled one with another. And so I would be opposing the will of God to say otherwise.
Okay.
However, I don't reconcile with liars, with lies. I don't and will not affirm untruth. And reconciliation requires, I'm always open for reconciliation, but it requires always, as biblically prescribed, repentance. And so you're right. And so when we can come to the table and have an honest conversation and apologize in the spirit of Christ, will I work with them? No. Because why should I work under him? Why would I do that? No. That's out of the question.
Okay.
But can I be reconciled with him and with others? Through Christ, all things are possible.
My God. Okay. I respect that. And that's good. That's good. Someone asked, what was that question? Do you have a YouTube channel yet?
You know, I have I dabbled in that across the years, but no, nothing. I mean, I do. I have one. I think it's at Ebony Thoughts, but I don't have anything up. But like I said, there's some things in the works. So we'll see what shall emerge.
Let's see what we find. Everybody, we're going to have to push Dr. Marshall Turman to YouTube. Let me see. I don't know if I can. I tell you, I bring you up and Calvin Butts just all over it.
Listen, that's my father in ministry. You know, we claimed one another.
Yes, there you go. We
claim one another. So yes, that is my father in ministry, and that will never change. Even as they try to write me out of the history of the Abyssinian Baptist Church.
Well, I just subscribed.
Oh Lord. There I
am. Everybody in the chat mods, put it down there. We're gonna push Doctor into this spirit because she's talking too good just to give it all to Yale. Give it all to Duke.
Listen.
It's at Ebony Thoughts, everybody. At Ebony Thoughts, and her name is up there, Ebony Marshall Turman. So make sure you go there and you subscribe. Once you start seeing those subscriptions, she's been on his since 2011.
Lord. I mean, why you throw me under the bus?
Let me put up my. I just clicked on all notifications, so I'm going to be anticipating the notification that you are coming live to give us some, because we need to hear you. I think the women need to hear you. The men need to hear you. Harlem Abyssinian wants to hear you. They're over there. They know that stuff wasn't done right. A lot of them, but they say they love the church. So I don't want, you know how that go. I love my church, so I don't want to fuck up against it and all that other stuff. But listen, I think you need to expand that voice even louder than it is, and they put it in the chat. So I want everybody to subscribe right there. At Ebony Thoughts, all right?
I appreciate it. Well, I am here. I'm here. I do have a robust itinerary. Yeah. And, I'm always going to speak truth to power as it emerges from the life and the ministry of Jesus. So that's who I am. That's what it is.
And it Friday, just April 11th.
I was born a woman.
Say that last thing again.
I said, that's who I am. It just so happens that I was born a woman. So
and thank God you were. Thank God you were. You are over there. You're the revivalist there at a revival, a spring revival. Was that April 11th?
Oh, yes. So next Friday, I will be preaching here in the Marquand Chapel at Yale University. So come through, come through.
Come on, New York. Get over there. And
we are accessible. By train. So
there you go. So we want to see everyone in that area, trains, planes, or automobiles, get over there to the chapel over there at Yale University. All right. Yeah, definitely. And you can find her also, everybody, on Facebook, on Instagram, Ebony Thoughts. So make sure you are all subscribed to her. Before we get out of here, we are, as we talked about earlier, we are in a time. This administration has a lot of people worried, a lot of people concerned. We have, jobs are being eliminated, funds are low. Marvin Sapp's locking doors. I'm not. I'm just playing. I wish they leave that alone, but they go milk that thing till it's dry.
I know it.
But give us some words of encouragement before we get off of here. Just how we should be moving, looking forward and looking through this administration.
Yes, I would say, very briefly and preliminarily that, we have seen this before. This is unfortunately nothing new. Our nation was born from this very thing, right? From the logics of, slavery and genocide and destroying peoples, which is precisely what this current administration is up to, both here and abroad. And so we can't be frightened into submission. We have to speak up and speak out, knowing the Savior who we serve, who was, as someone put in the chat, I think, a revolutionary, who was a political actor speaking against the Roman Empire, and who was ultimately crucified by, capital punishment by the state. And so we have to do what we're called to do, which is justice, love mercy, and walk humbly. We need to stay on the front line of the battlefield, and we need to fight the power. I will say, as we do it, always remember, in the Baptist church, we have this thing called the perseverance of the saints, that no matter how far it seems we may fall back, we are ever held by the love and the care of God. So go forth, do not be afraid, and fight the power.
Amazing.
Give them praise.
They're asking for your Cash App, Doctor.
Oh, really?
What is that?
Huh. Really? Is this, I don't want to be confused with Marvin Sapp now. Are you
the doors are open now. We're giving freely. They're freely giving.
Okay. It's Marshall Turman. The little money sign, Marshall Turman.
Come on, mods, put that in the chat. Marshall Turman. Let me just update it really quick here. There is her website right there, Marshall Turman. T, not a tur. Tur.
Tur.
Oh, right. Marshall Turman. I think somebody corrected me with that the other day. So I'm just going to put your Cash App in here really quick so it can be on the screen. So people watching the replay. So when you get Cash App throughout the night or something, that's what's going on.
Wow. Okay.
Marshall. There we go. I always forget an L. There we go. Put another L in there. I'm going to save it here, and we're going to put it up. Marshall Turman, $ Marshall Turman. If you would like to be a blessing to Dr. Eboni, and also she has her book. You can find it on Amazon. So go to Amazon or her website right there. It'll take her website, marshallturman.com. It'll take you right to her book as well. So make sure everybody, if you're watching this, say under the sound of my voice, make sure that you go over to her YouTube and subscribe. We are pushing her out the door.
I appreciate it.
Pushing her out the door. We're gonna get her to 500 and then 1,000, and she'll be totally monetized. And her word. It's not about only the money, but it's like when you can push your word out and then be compensated so you can continue doing the work of the Lord. So that's what we want to happen. Not just to give you money or we want your word to be out there, because it is very important. And the people of Harlem, the people of the United States, and the people of Abyssinian would love to hear you continue to speak.
Bless you.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for accepting my invitation. And I pray that, everything goes well. And as you trek towards whatever direction you would like choose to go in your lawsuit, that God will be with you.
Thank you. Thank you
All
so
right.
much. And again, thank you for having me on. And, I look forward to staying in touch.
All right. Thank you so much.
All
Have a
right.
good one. All right.
God
Bye-bye.
bless.
Man, didn't we have an awesome time with Dr. Eboni Marshall Turman? Come on now. Great conversation. Thank you guys for coming through and hanging out with us. I appreciate it. Send you a special blessing for Easter resurrection. Oh, yes. Do that. Appreciate you guys. Y'all been great. I will look forward to tomorrow. What's up, Marcus? You at that Amazon. There it is, everybody. Let's blow up her YouTube right now. Blow up her YouTube, because we want to get her voice. You can find her preaching. You can find her preaching all over YouTube and stuff. But, that's blessing somebody else, at the end of the day. Yeah, we're being blessed hearing it. But at the end of the day, she's blessing, they getting compensated for her work. And I believe she's way too talented, gifted, and anointed to just give her stuff away. So if you would like to support her, there is the CashApp handle, Eboni Thoughts with the Eboni. All right, everybody. So make sure. Hope you guys enjoyed. Do you guys enjoy it? Y'all enjoy it? I appreciate each and every one of you. I think we needed 4 more to reach our goal today, but I think some of you kind of doubled up. So we really met our goal, because a few of you really doubled up on it. So I appreciate you guys who came through. We didn't see it rain, because but hey, we did it. So thank you for being respectful in the chat. We only had to time out a couple of y'all, so that was pretty good. We only had to time out a couple of you. So, but I'm not going to hold you, everybody. I have to go out and do some things myself. I got to get my behind over to the gym so we can, it's Lenten season. So we got to do it. Yeah, so there's lots of sermons on YouTube. Put them on your own channel. That's what I'm saying. You can find her over there on YouTube, but put them on your own channel. And so you can, she has beautiful family. Support her family. So we'll time out. Oh, don't even make a difference. Don't even make a difference who was timed out. They was just timed out. All right. So if you'd like to for the program today, as we always say, we ask you not only with your super chats, and we appreciate you, but at this time, it's time for you to, as Irene Holmes says, what in the cult music is going on here? And right there is your handles to support the program. But if you have to make a decision today, you'll make your decision towards Dr. Eboni Marshall Turman. All right, make your decision. If you have to figure out where you want to support on just today, make sure it is through $ Marshall Turman. But if you're blessed beyond measure, go ahead and bless the platform and Dr. Turman on Dr. Marshall Turman today. All right. We appreciate you for your always supporting this platform. Let's run through our tithers. You know how they used to piss people off at the churches sometime? They put the tithers up and your name wasn't on there, but that's all right. Our tithers today. Thank you so much, JP, for helping us reach our goal. Kevin Moore, as usual, thank you so much. Thank you, Rejoice. I appreciate you for your support. You went over and above what we asked, and you came through again. That's why I said we met the goal. Now, see the third. I really appreciate you for your $19.99 donation. God bless you. And all of you who gave the super chat or however you're giving, Zelle or whatever you're doing, I will, as they say at funerals, we'll be able to thank you at a later date. We appreciate you. All right. So I hope everybody enjoyed themselves. Have a wonderful, thank you, mods, for hanging out. make sure you are subscribed to the St. James Show. Hit that subscribe button for me. And if you happen to just be looking and you never hit the like button, will you do that right now? Hit that like button and to show your support. And also over at the Carnal Church sector, make sure you hit that subscribe button over there. I appreciate you guys. Hang out for our announcements. And as we get out of here, you can hang out and talk in the chat while the announcements are going through. All right. So thank you so much. Appreciate you. Thank you again, Dr. Eboni Marshall Turman.
Somebody told me when you get in trouble. Somebody told me when you get in trouble, he'll bring you out. He'll bring, yeah. Somebody told bring you out. Is there anybody here that can lift your hand and say,